It's summertime and my potatoes are ready to be harvested. Some of them, anyway. Now, when are potatoes exactly ready to be harvested? That's one of my most frequently asked questions, so we're going to talk about that today. So you planted your potatoes in the spring, they grew, they're lush and green, maybe they flowered a short while ago, and now you're looking at them thinking, when do I know when they're ready? Because the worst thing is when you get your spade or your fork in the ground, or you tip over the pot that you're growing them in, and you rummage around and find that they're about the size of a pea, and you think, damn it, harvested them too early, I should have left them in. So how do you know when they are in fact ready? Well, there's a few tricks that you can learn and use to your advantage so you can harvest them at just the right time when they're the perfect size for what you need. So first of all, it helps to know what type of potato you're growing. Now, it really helps if you know the variety, so it could be a Charlotte, a Maris Piper, or a King Edward, and if you know that information, then you can look up and find out whether it is a first early potato, a second early, or a main crop. And once you've found that out, you'll know how many weeks it takes to mature. So if you're growing a first early potato, such as Rocket or Javelin, these are generally ready from 10 to 12 weeks after you planted them. So that's usually if you plant them around March, April, they'll be ready around June, July sort of time. If you're growing a second early, such as Charlotte, these are ready in 12 to 14 weeks from planting, so they're usually ready from July into August. And if you're growing a main crop potato, well, these take the longest and they take 15 to 20 weeks to mature and be ready for harvesting. And you'll usually start to harvest those from around anywhere from sort of August into October. Some varieties can be harvested much sooner and some a bit later. So it really helps if you've got that information to know which one you have. Leading on from that, obviously you need to know when you planted them. I tend to plant all of my potatoes around mid-April, which means I'm now at the 13-week mark, which means my second early potatoes, my Charlottes, are now ready for harvesting. But what if you just went to a food shop, or maybe you've lost your label, the information, you've no idea what you've planted, how do you know when they're ready? Well, first thing I would do is to find out if it flowered. Think about it. Did it flower? If so, I'd wait 2 weeks and then have a feel around. You may have some potatoes down there that are ready. How are the leaves looking? Are they still lush and green? If so, it might still have a lot more growing to do. If they're looking yellow and tired, they've completely flopped over, I always wait for my main crop potatoes to do this. That means it's finished growing, it's not going to put any more energy into growing those tubers underground, so they're now ready for harvesting. And the last thing you can do is just to get down there on your hands and knees, have a feel around. If they're in the ground, maybe you can just pull away some of the soil, see what they look like, or if they're in a pot, maybe you can tip that over and see if you've got any on the outside. You can tell are a really good size, ready for harvesting. If you're growing a main crop in a bucket or a container like I do, sometimes the bucket actually starts to bulge where all the potatoes are, really putting on significant growth. And that's a good way of knowing as well. But yes, if you can find out the name of your potato, find out if it's a first early, second early or main crop, and then work out from those weeks exactly where you are in the calendar. And there's no harm in taking one a little bit earlier just to see where they're at. And just bear in mind, if you've had a year without significant rainfall, then it does mean they're going to come a little bit smaller on the size. But also the benefit of a variety called Charlotte, which is a second early that I grow, is that you can harvest them early or later and just control the sort of size that they're at. So if I harvest them now, they should be a nice new potato, salad potato size, but I can just let them mature fully and let them grow to a much bigger size spud. I have a video that's all about growing potatoes in containers on this channel. It's one of my favourite ways to grow spuds, and I'll never go back to putting them in the soil now. And that video has now got over 2 million views, which is staggering. It blows my mind. So if you're not sure how to grow potatoes and you've come to this one first, then do check out that video. It's really a great way of growing spuds in containers. So perhaps you're limited on space or you don't have any bare soil. It's so easy to do. Maybe get on it next year if it's too late for this year, and give it a try. I hope you found this video useful. Do let me know what potatoes you're growing this year and if you've had any already for harvest so far. I've still got all mine to go and I'm looking forward to it and sharing with you my potato reveals throughout the year. So do make sure you're subscribed because everybody just loves a nice potato reveal, don't they? Thanks for watching and I'll see you soon.